time. Good night.
On World News Tonight this Thursday, another school shooting. Today in Conyers, Georgia.
And I looked back and I saw his gun, and I just started running.
And how to turn a school into a fortress. The largest price-fixing case in history today, the price of vitamins. And the multi-billion-dollar gamble in the name of national defense. It is your money.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. Add Conyers, Georgia to the list of high schools where a young gunman has caused chaos. Another school, another shooting. 6 people wounded this time at Heritage High, about 20 miles east of Atlanta. School was just beginning when a 15-year-old sophomore began shooting near the cafeteria. As the news broke out across the country, so many people were not surprised. Aaron Hayes is in Conyers tonight.
I want to find my son. Is that where all the kids are? Parents racing to the school found a scene that has become familiar from too many other schools. Children stunned, frightened, in disbelief.
He's like, I got shot in the foot. And they're like, are you for real? He's like, I'm so for real, I can't feel my foot.
Teachers trying to make sense of chaos.
Just get on a bus, if you're a bus rider, and we will get you home.
Friends said the shooter, a 15-year-old sophomore, had been depressed, talked about suicide. Nathaniel Dieter talked to him this morning just before classes were to start.
His girlfriend broke up with him, and he said he was gonna kill himself, but I really didn't believe him.
Nathaniel left, and a few minutes later heard gunshots and saw his friend with a .22 rifle shooting.
I turned around and I yelled at him, why are you doing this? And he shot the kid next to me.
He turned around and saw me there, so he pulled a revolver from his side and pointed it at my head. And he was standing there aiming at me through the door. And I just reached up, grabbed the door, and pulled it shut so he couldn't get in.
Drake Hoy was hit.
My first reaction was I didn't think it was real, you know. It sounded like a CO2 gun, something like that, you know, just air. And then I got hit in the foot, and I was like, wow, this is real.
Teachers scrambled children into classrooms, but some students chased the shooter outside, where they said he dropped to his knees, pulled out a revolver, put it in his mouth, held it there, and then laid it by his side.
He put the gun by his side. The principal opened the door and asked for the gun, and he gave him the gun and started crying and said, I'm so scared, oh my God, I'm so scared.
When a deputy arrived, he apprehended the suspect and handcuffed him and placed him in the car.
Bomb squads moved in, exploded what looked suspicious. A backpack, just books and paper, but they were taking no chances. As for the guns, a law enforcement source tells ABC News the shooter's family owned them. How did the boy get guns into the school? There's a guard on duty here, but no metal detectors. And as in other incidents like this, word there may have been warning signs. Friends say the boy had brought a gun to school once before, but no one reported him. No one thought him capable of what he did today. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Conyers, Georgia.
The shooting today added fuel to the political debate in Washington about putting further controls on people buying guns. Today, the Senate passed an amendment to a juvenile justice bill that will, if it makes it through the House as well, require mandatory background checks for all transactions at gun shows and for anyone trying to claim their own weapon at a pawn shop. Here's ABC's Linda Douglas.
As the vote neared, the vice president arrived at the Capitol, and a top official with the National Rifle Association also hurried in. The senators knew with this morning's shootings that the stakes had just gone up again.
If anything, the actions this morning should have taught us that winking at the NRA and then smiling at the American people just produces more carnage.
This is a complex problem, and that going on a gun control feeding frenzy is not the answer.
But Democrats smelled victory, so much that they resurrected their proposal defeated just last week, requiring tough background checks on buyers at gun shows. Today, in the wake of the school shootings, all but one Democrat voted to crack down on gun shows, and 6 Republicans broke ranks to vote with them. That left the Senate tied. The vice president cast the tie-breaking vote.
The vice president votes in the affirmative, and the amendment is agreed to.
All week, Republican leaders scrambled to come up with a plan that would bring GOP defectors into line, but to no avail.
I made it clear that I wasn't inclined to
switch my position on this, that I was going to vote my conscience.
Georgia Democrat Max Cleland, who had voted against his party's strict gun show rules, today voted for them. He was swayed by new details in the proposal, but pushed over the top by this morning's shootings.
It was the high school shooting in my own backyard in Georgia that really made me convinced that that was the right thing to do.
In this stunning week, the Senate approved a sweeping array of gun control measures, including requirements for child safety locks, a ban on possession of assault weapons and clips by minors, requirements for a background check to redeem weapons at pawn shops.
The gun control battle now moves to the House, where the tide also seems to be turning. GOP House leaders had been sidestepping the gun control issue, but today they announced that now they will take it up in the next 2 weeks. Peter?
Thank you very much, Linda Douglas. On Capitol Hill this evening, the president praised the Senate today for what he called the common sense of their vote. Mr. Clinton and the First Lady went to Littleton, Colorado today. They're meeting this evening with the relatives of the Columbine High School victims, and they're also seeing some students as well. Later in the broadcast, does a safe school need to be a prison? And when we come back, a worldwide conspiracy to raise and fix the price of vitamins. And then the billion-dollar laser weapon, at best a work in progress, using your money.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine
Have you seen Transitions lenses lately? Indoors, the changing tint is clearer. Outdoors, they're the darkest Transitions lenses ever. For all-day comfort and convenience, Transitions lenses, right in any light. Transitions lenses are available at Sears Optical. And now at Sears Optical, all frames are $1 when you buy Transitions lenses.
How do you get healthy hair like this? Hair with this sheen and body? Feed your dog Pedigree with Champion Skin and Coat System in every can and bag.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
It's here. The award-winning 215 horsepower power plant. The more powerful, Intrigue. Intrigue by Oldsmobile. Start to command performance. Start something.
The Justice Department says today that two companies which provide a large percentage of the world's vitamins have been fixing prices. In fact, it's the largest price-fixing case in history. 2/3 of the country uses vitamins, and the government says too many are paying too much. In Washington, ABC's Lisa Stark.
The conspiracy to fix vitamin prices has gone on since 1990. It affected the cost of vitamin pills purchased by consumers, vitamins used in animal feed, and vitamins used to fortify the food we eat.
These companies hurt the pocketbook of virtually every American. Anyone who took a vitamin, drank a glass of milk, or had a bowl of cereal.
The companies involved, Roche of Switzerland and BASF of Germany, will pay criminal fines of $725 million. The French company, Rhone Poulenc, was also implicated, but cooperated with investigators and will not be fined.
The huge cost to consumers can be measured by what happened to vitamin C. A few years ago, the Chinese began marketing vitamin C in the United States, and the conspirators could no longer control prices. They dropped by 50%. Overall, it's estimated the price fixing cost consumers and businesses hundreds of millions of dollars.
The company's troubles are not over. They face dozens of class action suits seeking damages, and the industry continues to be scrutinized. Attorney Robert Silver.
That the challenge that remains really is to investigate and find out what other vitamins may have been involved.
It is unclear if today's settlement will mean a drop in vitamin prices, but the Justice Department says it puts companies on notice not to try this again. Lisa Stark, ABC News, Washington.
The government today has also charged the Wall Street firm Merrill Lynch with participating in a giant commodities price-fixing scheme. The government says that Merrill provided financing and advice to a Japanese firm it knew was illegally manipulating the price of copper on the world market. Also on the money tonight, the world produces, the U.S. consumes. The trade deficit rose to a record high in March, $19.7 billion. Some economists say the deficit is not entirely bad, at least for now, because demand by American consumers is helping to reinvigorate the world economy. For the first time, an album by a Latin singer has debuted at the top of the mainstream charts. It's from Puerto Rico sensation Ricky Martin. According to the Recording Industry Association of America, sales of Latin music are growing at twice the rate of the overall market. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 20 points to close at 10,866. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down 35 points. Everybody, by the way, is doing it. The World Wrestling Federation is the latest company to issue stock, trying to raise money in hopes that its popularity on television will carry over to the market. In our next segment, how does a customs agent decide who to stop and search? Try skin color.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need help. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec goes to work and lasts 24 hours. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec.
1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 4, 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potato balls.
Chevy Venture now has available seating for 8. Perfect for when you're expecting the unexpected.
5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potato balls. Rub
Choose 0% financing or $1,000 cash back on a new '99 Chevy Venture. See your dealer today. Chevy Venture. Let's go.
The best way to cure athlete's foot so it won't come back is here. New Lamisil AT. So powerful, it does what no other brand can do. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Lamisil AT is so powerful, with just 1 week's use, it stops the itching and burning and cures athlete's foot between the toes. So powerful, a clinical study showed 3 whole months later, users were still athlete's foot free. Now without a prescription. New Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot fast so it won't come back.
Just a thought, that's what Einstein said. Just a view of the future, 2 paces ahead. Thinking about me, thinking about you. All the good things a little good thinking can do. Good thinking means new ways of looking at things. Mona Lisa was smiling cause she could see wings spring from the brush. With each stroke of genius, the good things a little good thinking can do.
Just as we were going on the air last night, NATO went back to bombing Belgrade for the first time since it hit the Chinese embassy almost 2 weeks ago. And as Ron Claiborne reports from Belgrade tonight, once again, there have been mistakes.
Today it was a hospital neurology ward. 3 patients and a night watchman dead. They're ideal victims for NATO, the health minister said. They can't run away or defend themselves or protest. They can't do anything. Not far away, glass shattered and doors broken at the residence of the Swedish ambassador. NATO said it had hit a nearby military barracks, but that 1 bomb had gone astray. Anger at NATO runs deep, but now there is another anger, too, against the Serb leadership. The city of Čačak has been the target of repeated NATO attacks, but more and more people believe President Milosevic is at least partly responsible for what's happened to them. Every day this week, groups of residents calling themselves a People's Parliament have gathered at a local town hall, asking sharp and critical questions about the war and the government's role in it.
Mr. President, we appeal to you to stop the war because the price we have paid up till now has been too high.
The mayor of Čačak has demanded that the government remove military equipment from the city and that federal authorities give an accounting of the whereabouts of local soldiers serving in Kosovo. It's a sign that some Serbs are growing weary of the war and those they blame for it. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Belgrade.
Once again today, the NATO alliance is being pulled in different directions by its own members. Today it was Italy's prime minister who called for a 3-day pause in the bombing to give diplomacy a chance. The United States is among several NATO countries that will not even consider it. And just one other item, the U.S. has quietly deployed another weapon in the war. It is the AC-130 gunship. It flies low and it flies slow. It is basically a platform for some very high-speed guns. The alliance is using them along the border with Albania, where the Serbs are reported to be digging in. And NATO is being very cautious, trying to keep them away from any Serb anti-aircraft positions. Other news. In Washington today, horror stories about the Customs Service. Testimony before the Congress about racial profiling, a practice that many people say is now all too common. Here's ABC's Jackie Judd.
There are 43 telltale signs that are supposed to alert a customs officer to drug suspects. Baggy pants, a ticket paid for by cash, darting eyes. But witnesses at today's hearing allege the only reason they were taken into custody and strip searched was the color of their skin.
I was so scared and so embarrassed. It was the most humiliating, degrading thing that I ever had to go through.
General Denson was 7 months pregnant when she arrived in Fort Lauderdale from Jamaica. She says she was handcuffed, denied food, and forced to take a laxative to expel suspected drug pellets.
After they examined it and found nothing, they handed it to me and made me empty it and clean out the bedpan. I was again handcuffed to the bed.
Neither woman was found to have any drugs, and statistics seem to support their allegation that race is a significant factor in detaining passengers. Last year, blacks and Hispanics were detained twice as often as white men, even though most drug smugglers are white men. Far more Hispanic men are wrongly searched than any other single group.
In no instance will we allow racial bias to be tolerated.
But Customs Commissioner Raymond Kelly did admit that the treatment of passengers who are searched has been sorely deficient, and he is concerned enough that an outside commission is now investigating why certain people are detained and others are not. Jackie Judd, ABC News, Washington.
Our regular report when we come back, the return of Star Wars, and we don't mean the movie.
When you or someone you love is hospitalized, you want the best care possible. And for their patients, doctors and hospitals choose Tylenol. Doctors recommend Tylenol for people on certain prescriptions, and it won't cause stomach irritation the way aspirin and even ibuprofen sometimes can. For over 20 years, Tylenol has been the pain reliever hospitals use most. Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
I'm at the Conway's home where we're about to put new DuPont Stainmaster carpet to the test with racing champion Jeff Gordon. Oh, man. Okay, so Jeff was a little too much for the carpet. But for ordinary traffic in your home, nothing performs better than DuPont Stainmaster. Right now, save big during the Stainmaster Savings 500 sweepstakes. You could even win a Corvette. Race in now to a participating carpet retailer.
Every second, every minute, every hour. Your plants are nourished continuously when you use Osmocote plant food. Osmocote has extended time-release granules, so just one application, once a season, is all it takes. Osmocote plant food. All your plants need, all season long.
I never met a dog I didn't like, which is a good thing, considering some of the occupational hazards my friends put me through. This is mine. This is Herman. Ooh, what do we have here? A tick. That's why I choose Frontline for these guys. Frontline's the best, because it's the only one that protects them from fleas and disease-causing ticks, too. Sorry I kept you waiting. No matter who your best friend happens to be.
For fleas and ticks, veterinarians choose the Frontline of protection.
Okay, one more time.
You've got to be quick to keep up with them. Quicker to help protect them. That's why Lysol disinfectant spray works in 30 seconds to kill 99.9% of germs. No spray works faster than Lysol spray. You have our word on it.
Our regular report on how the government uses and sometimes misuses your money tonight is about trying to keep an Air Force program alive when the critics in government say the Air Force is in too much of a hurry. Here's ABC's James Walker.
On a mountaintop in New Mexico stands the once top-secret Starfire optical range. Here, physicists developed a laser that military planners hoped to take into space as part of the $32 billion Star Wars project, to use space-based laser weapons to defend America from enemy missiles. Now, the Air Force dream has fallen from deep space to 40,000 feet to a 747.
Possible. Cleared to fire.
Armed with a laser to shoot down an enemy missile.
It will revolutionize warfighting when we can reach out and shoot these missiles down at the speed of light.
It's a $1.6 billion gamble. If it works, the military wants a total of $11 billion to equip 7 747s with lasers. But congressional auditors say the Air Force has been cutting corners on tests to keep the program alive.
So the Air Force cheated?
You could put it that way. They certainly didn't demonstrate what they have to demonstrate.
And even if they can fire the laser at 40,000 feet, the Pentagon worries it may not work in wartime. A Defense Department assessment warned that the laser's effectiveness might be reduced by atmospheric turbulence, enemy countermeasures, or by the location of enemy missile batteries.
Simply put, the laser can only fire so far. The question is, will the enemy be able to move its missile launchers beyond that effective range?
The Air Force has now scheduled more tests, but the head of the program does not believe there should be any further delays.
You know, we had 28 dead over in Desert Storm from Scud missile. We don't have time to wait around. You know, we need to hurry.
But it is the Air Force's need to hurry that worries Congress and many in the Pentagon. The airborne laser program is experimental. Rush it, they say, and you risk, like Star Wars, wasting billions of dollars on something that may never work. James Walker, ABC News, Albuquerque.
In Germany today, the end of what may be the country's last war crimes trial. A court convicted a 79-year-old former Gestapo agent of assisting in the murder of 17,000 Jews at a concentration camp in Poland in 1943. He was sentenced to 10 years. He's already served a great deal more. In a moment, military strategy for the schools. We'll take a closer look.
World News Tonight with Peter Jennings and a closer look are brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ouch. Tough break.
What do you think? Knockdown 4? Hooded 5?
Chainsaw.
When you own the course, you make the rules. Go to LeSabre.com for a chance to win your very own golf course and all new 2000 LeSabre for other great prizes.
That ball's wet.
Plexiglass.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Go to LeSabre.com. Every game piece is a winner.
Lively conversation every morning. Wrestling Sunday afternoons. Flower arranging weekends. Bike riding whenever. Boost daily. With essential vitamins and minerals, Boost is just one of those special things you do to take care of yourself. In bars and drinks, Boost, a nutritional part of this complete life.
Julius Caesar received the most famous gift in history. This is why they murdered him. Cleopatra, the most seductive woman who ever lived, comes to ABC Sunday, 9/8 Central.
In a small, rather out-of-the-way Tennessee town the other day, we asked the local police chief how much pressure there was to put a cop in the high school. A lot, he told us. The parents want the security. And it's the same story everywhere in the country, where parents have seen a rash of shootings played over and over again on television. Today, the country's largest manufacturer of metal detectors tells us that in the 4 weeks since the shootings at Columbine High, inquiries are up 50%. And one of the largest makers of surveillance cameras tells us inquiries have tripled. in the last month. Whatever they decide, a lot of schools won't have the money to spend until the fall. Let's take a closer look tonight at what will be available. Here's ABC's Michelle Norris.
At the Sandia National Laboratory, engineers have decided to take on a new mission, keeping America's school children safe.
The national labs are charged with issues of national security. I'm a parent. I think school safety is national security and very, very important.
Sandia takes proven security strategies from the military and applies them to schools.
You do have your John Henry here?
So, much like a military base, there's only one way in and one way out of Belen High School, just outside Albuquerque. Once plagued by vandalism and violence, Belen officials turned to Sandia for help in developing a comprehensive security plan, a system that cost more than $300,000.
You guys students here?
Measures that would have seemed extreme, even bizarre, just 10 years ago are now seen as necessary, even on a suburban campus like this. A mesh fence surrounds the school. High-powered minicams are sprinkled throughout the grounds, allowing the principal to monitor students from his office. And like many other schools, Belen now relies on metal detectors and security guards.
Been accustomed to calling it a prison, but I feel a lot safer.
As we're growing, we need to install some of these security measures in place to ensure that our facility is safe, to ensure that our students are safe.
And statistics suggest that the school is safer. There are 75% fewer fights on campus and a 90% decrease in vandalism and theft. But even with their success, officials here know that no security system is foolproof.
If you think that you're going to prevent things from happening 100%, those things won't prevent it.
Security experts say that, if anything, the recent string of schoolhouse shootings provides one important lesson. Hardware alone won't keep students safe unless schools work harder to identify problems before they explode. Michelle Norris, ABC News, Washington.
It is a bit strange to hear it, but so many school officials tell us they are holding their breath until the summer break. There is unusual tension at a lot of schools. And we know the media doesn't help always. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a radio disc jockey got a call from a fourth grader yesterday who complained on the air about being told to go home for cursing. Listen to what the DJ suggested.
Why don't you pick up an assault rifle and go back to school? Take care of everybody, all right?
Well, the DJ said he wasn't being serious. The station fired him anyway. The local high school, where he also works as a DJ, has dropped him too. That's our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget Nightline later. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.
Tomorrow, a TV newscast with a conscience. But is it religious bias? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
From around the globe,
Cher, Janet Jackson,
the world's hottest music.
Ricky Martin, Britney Spears.